I love FNaF World Refreshed, but we can all admit it's kind of easy. In this FNaF World remake, there are so many OP characters with absurdly high health, incredibly strong chips you can stack, and so much more that makes this game considerably easier than the base FNaF World in my opinion. So, to test my belief, I want to take a challenge from the original FNaF World that's near impossible, that being the Starters Only Challenge, and see if I can complete it in FNaF World Refreshed. Now, the Starters Only Challenge is pretty simple. You get 8 characters when you begin FNaF World, and you must stick with these guys for your entire playthrough. In the original, it's been proven that you can just barely squeak out a win on security, the second to last boss with them, but once you make it to Scott, it is 100% impossible without cheesing him with an insta-kill or some other sort of chicanery. So, I want to take what is considered a waking 15-hour nightmare, and see if I can fully complete FNaF World Refreshed with only the starting characters on the game's hardest difficulty. To make this a real challenge though, I'll be banning the use of gift boxes and the newly added mini chips. We've gotta win fair and square. Also, I'll be trying to go the extra mile in this challenge and see if I can beat both Chica's Magic Rainbow and the Colorful Crew with the starting cast. The latter being a new boss exclusive to Refreshed with 1 million HP! It'll be such a fun time. This challenge forced me to utilize brand new areas, chips, and moves added into the game, put my entire YouTube career in jeopardy, but most of all, I had to serve and slay like it was nobody's business. This is the FNaF World Refreshed Starters Only Challenge. When I got into Fazbear Hills, I immediately went to try and take down the boss Auto Chipper to get the chip's Head Start Strength and Head Start Defense behind him. Auto Chipper's still the first boss of FNaF World, so he really shouldn't be a problem for our starting cast. I've never lost to Auto Chipper before, and that's not gonna change now! Okay, turns out that intentionally picking the dumbest team lineup possible wasn't a good idea, and I was going to need to set up my team wisely. For this challenge, I decided that Team 1 would consist of Toy Freddy, Bonnie, Toy Chica, and Foxy. Meanwhile, Team 2 would consist of Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Chica, and Mangle. The reason I set up the teams in this way is because FNaF World Refreshed ended up giving each character a new 4th move, and this new addition makes 2 of them absolute menaces. Now, most of the starting characters got a pretty standard 4th move. Freddy got Jump Scare, Chica got Bite, but they ended up giving Bonnie Gloom Song. This means that the starting characters now have a source of attack debuffing, which makes Bonnie even better than he already was. However, Bonnie pales in comparison to my glorious king Toy Freddy, as the new move they gave him, Rage Quit, makes him the best character on the team by a mile. Essentially, when using this move, Toy Freddy goes through a queso tier crash out, and while in his gamer rage he has a 50% chance to insta-kill a teammate, but also has a 50% chance to land an insta-kill on an enemy. This move not only enables my horrible gambling addiction, but also trivializes almost every character encounter in the game as it hits way more often than you'd expect. They actually made this fat, greasy who you have to babysit an Ultimate Custom Night and help with his game because he is just so terrible at it, one of the best characters in FNaF World Refreshed! It's enough to make a grown man cry! I ended up defeating Auto Chipper on my second try and began to coast through the beginning of the game. I defeated the Auto Chipper and my work was done in Fazbear Hills, then cruised through Choppy's Woods and made my way through Dusting Fields, and then after defeated Bouncer by using the power of Pizza Wheel. Balloon Boy shouldn't be there. This is a starters only challenge and Balloon Boy isn't a starter. I shouldn't have Balloon Boy on my team. The beginning of the game is kind of designed with these starting characters in mind, so I was easily able to make my way through it while amassing both a nice collection of chips and purchasing a few bites from Lolbit's shop. I made my way into Lilygear Lake, and by this point I had acquired both the Quick Start Party and Run Luck chips. These two can pair really well together, as Quick Start Party gives you a grace period at the start of every battle where enemies won't attack you, and Run Luck helps you get away faster, so I can combine them to avoid almost every battle with ease. At this point, I decided to enter the glitch area to try and get the auto shield chip to boost my defense, and because of these two chips, I thought I could make it there with ease. However, the enemies of this area didn't take kindly to this idea, as when I'd run from battles, I'd consistently get new character encounters, and these guys all had absurdly strong bites on their side. You see, in FNaF World Refreshed, all the enemies now have access to bites of their own, and it just so happens that in the glitch area, they can use bomb bites. These bites are essentially just the child of Oppenheimer and the Doom Shroom from Plants vs. Zombies, because upon explosion, they would wipe out my entire party, giving me a game over. It also doesn't help that some enemies can also roll tier 3 bomb bites, which, you know, deal over 4,000 damage, hitting harder than anything else in the entire game. But after dying a few times, I thankfully dodged all the bomb bite enemies and was just about to grab the chip and
oh my god.
so it turns out this area also has a roaming boss that spells our instant demise if we're unlucky enough to run into it. But after many more attempts than I'd like to admit, I finally snuck my way to the auto shield chip, dodging every character encounter, and made my way out of there. Oh yeah, and around this time I made my way into the Mines of Dusting Fields, and I found something pretty sweet. I defeated one of the eyesore bosses there, and afterwards I was rewarded with my very own light source. This lamp is a brand new addition to FNaF World Refreshed. By clicking it, it lets you light up any cave, and will definitely come in handy later. Alright, FNaF World Refreshed, let's see what spooky and scary secrets you have. Me? Scared? No? What makes you say that? Okay guys, I need your help. Please like this video and subscribe so the neighbor from Hello Neighbor doesn't kill me. Please, just comply with his demands! Oh wait, I have free will over this video. I can just cut to the next chapter and ignore you entirely. I mean, you should still like and subscribe, but okay, bye! In all honesty, besides having to deal with the bites of enemies, this challenge has been pretty simple so far. Whenever I get into a character encounter, I can just yell the magic words Toy Freddy rage quit this guy, and a moment later my wish would be granted almost every single time. For a while, I was basically just going around and defeating bosses to grab their chips. I got Evercomet Strong, Endless Defense, Endless Speed, the whole shebang. Now, although Toy Freddy's rage quit works really well in regular battles, in boss fights, it's quite the opposite. This is because for bosses specifically, there's not only the 50-50 you have to win, but you actually have to connect the move afterwards with another random roll. It's basically a chance within a chance. So whenever I'd get into a battle, Toy Freddy would consistently miss and only kill himself in the process. Sunk cost fallacy's a though, so I'll keep trying to land it even though it never works. He'd always do the strangest thing though. Instead of taking out any teammates whenever he missed, Toy Freddy would always sacrifice himself every single time. Weird. Eventually, I was able to make my way into the Pinwheel Circus, and this digital circus had some pretty sweet bites I could purchase to up my total damage output. By this point, my starting character's moves are beginning to look pretty weak damage-wise, so buying these UFO bites helped a ton. With these UFOs, I decided to challenge Brow Boy, the boss of the Pinwheel Circus, and thanks to both them and my team's super moves, I was able to make decent progress in this fight. You see, FNaF World Refreshed adds a super meter in the top right of the screen, and once it's full, you can use a character's Faz power, which essentially just spams a pre-existing move over and over. Unfortunately, because we can only use the starting characters, we only have access to 3. Freddy, Toy Freddy, and Foxy all have Infinity Pizza, which spams Pizza Wheel. Bonnie, Toy Bonnie, and Mangle all have Party Services, which spams Party Favors. And the 2 Chicas both have Cake Feast, which spams Cupcake. While none of these supers are anything crazy, Cake Feast ended up being really helpful in this fight, as I was able to create a constant stream of healing that Brow Boy was struggling to kill through. And soon after, I was able to get the win. To be honest though, I've kinda just been blazing through this game so far. I haven't really been taking the time to truly appreciate the scenery around me. Like, wow! This is a pretty amazing digital circuit! After doing the impossible and finding the exit out of this digital circus, I entered the Pinwheel Funhouse and soon after got into battle with the area's boss, Bubba. Now, around this part in the game, I was really rushing my progression. I probably should have bought some boss trains or endoskeleton upgrades before this boss, but in my mind, I needed to make it through this area now! Because I neglected to purchase more upgrades though, the fight with Bubba didn't go as smoothly as I'd hoped, and it seemed like I was going to get a game over. However, Toy Freddy had other plans.
Oh my god, he hit it!
Oh my god, he actually hit it. I should not have won that. That's my goat. That's my goat being goated. Oh yeah, that's right. Toy Freddy decided to lock in and not only win the 50-50 to try and insta-kill the boss, but rolled the small chance after that to actually have the move connect. I probably won't be going for any other insta-kills on bosses after this because I don't want this to just turn into an insta-kill challenge, but this one was too cool not to include. After completing my journey through the Pinwheel Funhouse and unlocking the next area's switch, I decided to take a pause on my progression and instead focus on upgrading my characters, as I feel like I've just been rushing too much. Now you may be thinking, TheDapperWaffle, what upgrades did you give them? Did you go get them better chips, a better endoskeleton, or better bites? Well, calm the f down, I'm getting to it. While yes, I did go get a few of these things, those weren't the important purchases. We needed to get a makeover! After clearing out the Pinwheel Funhouse, I immediately went to the newly added Candycade in order to grind out tickets for different skins. In Refresh, by playing different minigames, you can earn tickets to buy different skins for your characters. And girlies, we were gonna look stylish. After playing minigames for a while, I had all the tickets I'd need to buy each of my starting characters a new skin. And oh man, we were stunning. My starting team of 8 now all had beautiful new skins, and we were gonna serve everywhere we went. Our lineup consisted of Bear 5, a low-quality FNaF joke OC, alongside characters like Chocolate Bonnie, Pirate Foxy, Aeronaut Toy Freddy, and Sunken Toy Bonnie. All skins originating from FNaF AR. Of course, some people may take issue with my Toy Chica skin, saying she only looks worse due to the withering. Well, unlike you all, I take pride in her appearance. It's not a downgrade at all. It's a fashion statement. Oh, and Mangle? Good grief, he's naked! To real savants though, we all know Mangle is just displaying a bit of artistic nudity, just like the works of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. In all honesty though, the only outfit I'm truly disappointed by is Chica's. There was no Liberty Chica skin to pick, and that objectively would have been just like the best one by a mile. After acquiring these skins though, I ended up taking some time to just grind out money in order to get some upgrades for my team. I ended up throwing on the Find Characters ship, and thanks to Toy Freddy's Rage Quit, I was able to insta-kill every animatronic I came across. And by killing so many of them, I had acquired a large chunk of change. A ton of money grinding later, and I was finally able to acquire the strongest boss train money can buy. And I ended up going around and killing some more mini-bosses to nab almost all the chips I'd need for the rest of the playthrough. Thanks to all these upgrades, when I got into my next boss encounter with Pork Patch, my team was able to keep up with him pretty well compared to Bubba. My new tier 3 boss train bite and Infinity Pizza super move were all able to rack up a ton of damage, and ended up shutting Pork Patch down before the fight got dicey. With Pork Patch defeated, I now had access to both the Backwoods and Withering Dunes, 2 new areas exclusive to FNaF World Refreshed. So, you guys want to know what happened in these areas? Nothing. Literally nothing interesting happens in these areas. I really wish I had more to say about these areas because they're new, but the Backwoods you can just walk through, and the Withering Dunes requires you to do a sliding block puzzle before its boss. That's about it. I was convinced though that when I made it to the boss of the Withering Dunes, the Mad Coyote, I would hit a wall in my progression, but I ended up defeating him on my first try. Honestly, around this time, I was facing a problem that I don't think any other challenge YouTuber has had to deal with before. I was upset because this challenge wasn't hard enough for what was originally a waking 15-hour nightmare. I've just been blazing through everything with little difficulty, even though I'm locked to hard mode with only the starting cast with no gift boxes or mini chips. My mom would always tell me that realize, realize, realize. And from what I've seen from this game so far, this little blurb on the hard mode difficulty screen saying prepare for a challenge like no other has just been a fat lie. However, there was something in this Mad Coyote boss fight that would end up foreshadowing the troubles I'd face ahead. You see, when Mad Coyote reached half HP, he went into a rage mode which increased both his speed and attack power. While this mode didn't give me any trouble in this fight, in others soon after, it definitely did. And I couldn't have been happier. Alright, so here's the deal. I've got to defeat these 5 button guardian bosses in order to gain access to security, the second to last boss in FNaF World Refreshed. The problem though is that just like the Mad Coyote, these guys will go into a rage mode when they reach half health, and they hit hard. No matter what defense chips, bites, or endoskeleton upgrades I get, some of these guys are just gonna one-tap me no matter what, and I'll end up wiping before their health reaches 0. This means the challenge is now a race against the clock, similarly to that Chica's Magic Rainbow video I did a while back, as I have to maximize my damage and defeat each boss before I inevitably die. However, by this point the starting cast has some pretty abysmal damaging moves, so I'm not dealing enough damage to win anytime soon. I thought I'd just be throwing my head at the wall trying to kill these bosses forever, but I've always known that there are 3 things that can help me persevere through any difficulty in my way. You can either have a friend who'll fight for you in any universe, so pretty unrealistic, find an auto upgrade ship in the ice caves, or listen to Elfelt Valentine's theme from Guilty Gear Strive. Now, I probably know what you're thinking right now. Is this guy autistic? Gee, I don't know what the ice caves are! Well, you see, in the OG FNaF world, the ice caves was an unused and scrapped area. We have the music for the area proving it exists, but that's about it. Thankfully, in Refresh, the devs re-added this lost content, and we can explore these new caves to find our game-changing ship. Thanks to us grabbing that lamp earlier, we can light up the caves, and slowly but surely navigate to the area's boss, Froster. This guy was pretty tough due to his high health, but within a couple attempts I was thankfully able to get a win. After defeating him, I grabbed the auto upgrade chip behind him, and oh man, is this chip really good for us in this challenge. When equipped, auto upgrade takes all your character's moves and turns them into the best version possible. For example, Pizza Wheel will now turn into Mega Pizza, and Happy Jam turns into Happy Jam 2. This means our starting cast actually has competent moves now, but our best new move by far has to be Omega Bite. This is an upgraded move that Bonnie, Chica, and Toy Chica now possess, and provides lots of damage upon impact along with providing all 3 debuffs at once. Now, I was about to go kill the Button Guardian bosses, but right before that, I ended up rematching Bubba for some extra cash. In this fight though, I accidentally misclicked on Toy Freddy's Rage Quit, and he ended up insta-killing Bubba yet again. My mind just thinks Toy Freddy hates him, but my heart screams Toxic Yowie. Anyways, with auto upgrade, I was able to swiftly take out the first 3 Button Guardian bosses. I took down the Super Grinder, Snow Cone, and Mad Endo on my very first try. When I attempted to take down the last 2 bosses, however, it didn't really go as well. Super Goon is our first difficult boss, as even though we have increased damage, his speed is absolutely insane and will cause us to get wiped out before we can defeat him. Our second difficult boss is Lazy Eye, as he's got the most health out of all of the bosses at 60,000 HP. And he can also utilize Reaper Bites of his own to insta-kill my party right as the fight begins. New battle time. Chica, you ready to win this fight? God forbid a woman exist! Firstly, I needed to deal with Super Goon and his insane speed, so I decided to head back into the backwoods area to go to the newly added Lolbit shop for a Ghost Bite. These guys shoot ectoplasm at enemies which stuns them, which provides a similar effect to something like Haunting, so I grabbed the strongest one and equipped him for the team. I ended up swapping my strategy for the Super Goon fight a bit, as I combined both the Haunter Bite and Foxy's Jump Scare to try and stun Super Goon for as much as possible, so I could hold out long enough before my entire team died. It still wasn't easy. Many times I'd get close to winning but die right at the very end. But eventually I got some really good stuns in and ended up winning the battle with only 1 animatronic still standing. This fight still only took around 30 minutes of attempts though. I'm kinda hoping something like Security or Scott ends up being a real challenge. Lazy Eye on the other hand ended up involving a different strategy. The main problem were the insta-kill bites he had, but I learned they're randomized every time you start the battle, so I could keep resetting until he got weak ones. Realistically, I probably could have defeated him with this strategy before getting the Haunter Bite, but just having it helps me sleep at night. Although I don't really need it to. I have videos for that. With Lazy Eye now holding weak bites and a clean attempt later, the last Button Guardian boss had now fallen to the starting crew. All that's left now is to take out both Security and Scott, and for what is both a nearly impossible fight in the OG, along with an actually impossible fight without glitches or insta-kills, in Refreshed, these fights are insultingly easy. I really want to say these fights were hard. I truly do. But the way the game is designed currently makes these fights a breeze once you know what you're doing. Both Security and Scott hit like a truck, sure, but they move incredibly slowly. Therefore, by combining a Haunter Bite, Freddy and Foxy constantly spamming Jump Scare, and Omega Bite causing a speed debuff, you can stunlock both of these guys infinitely. If you stunlock them like this, the only thing they can do are their special moves, which in Security's case does nothing as Alarm gets hard countered by Auto Shield, and the damage from Scott's fourth wall can easily be healed by Bonnie's Happy Jam too. I stunlocked the final two bosses infinitely and defeated both Security and Scott himself without a single character dying. I had completed what is a near impossible feat in the base FNaF world, but I didn't feel any accomplishment. What? That's it? That's where this video ends? Oh no, 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 no. I am not ending this video here! We're done when I say we're done. I've been waiting this whole time for a truly difficult fight, something that really tests my skills, and I still have not gotten one. I'm gonna get a really difficult fight somewhere in this game, even if I have to go beyond the scope of what I originally intended. I'm gonna be attempting to defeat both Chica's Magic Rainbow and the colorful crew with only the starting cast. Let's get into it. So, after finishing the main game, I entered the Halloween backstage area, made it to the Geist Lair, and went through the entire maze to make it to Chica's Magic Rainbow. She may have 850,000 HP and be designed for you to win with exclusively Update 2 characters, but even though I only have the starting cast, I have hope. Hope that we can defeat this magical rainbow just like we did with Scott, and hope that we can prove it's possible. We're gonna defeat Chica's Magic Rainbow, or we're gonna die trying! Okay, let's be real here, Chica's Magic Rainbow seems completely impossible, and there are 3 clear reasons for it. Firstly, in the fight there's toxic air in the arena, and without an Update 2 character with the move Bubble Breath, our health is just gonna slowly wither away. Secondly, she spawns mini rainbows, which essentially insta-kill our party upon contact, and we have no way to remove them. And thirdly, she has 850,000 HP, which we don't have enough time to shred through before her timer runs out, and we get insta-killed by her rainbow cannon. So what? We're just gonna wither away to the toxic air and die thinking, we did alright for a couple of goofballs. Well, you see, Chica's Magic Rainbow may have an entire army of goons, a colossal amount of health, and a lethal rainbow cannon, but I have one thing she'll never have. I have a Toy Freddy. And oh, you won't like him when he's angry. I mean, what can Chica's Magic Rainbow do if I land the insta-kill on her before mini rainbows reach us? Before a cannon finishes charging? Or the toxic air kills us? Absolutely nothing. And so, within my first attempt at trying to land this insta-kill, Toy Freddy did the unthinkable.
Oh my god, he hit it! This game is easy! This game is so easy!
And with that, Chica's Magic Rainbow had been defeated with only the starting cast. A feat basically impossible in the original game. Fun fact, when you defeat Chica's Magic Rainbow normally, you skip the victory screen and just go straight to the ending cutscene. But because we insta-killed her here, we ended up breaking the game a bit, as the XP we earned is more than what the counter is expected to hold. Man, Toy Freddy has really turned out to be the MVP of this challenge, huh? He always tends to come in clutch when I'm in a difficult spot. He almost reminds me of another Toy Freddy I used to have. No, it can't be, right? Oh, anyways, by winning this fight, I ended up acquiring the purple key, which I'm now able to use back in the ice caves to fight the secret boss of FNaF World Refreshed, the colorful crew. These guys are easily the hardest fight in the game currently. They have 1 million HP alongside access to some of the strongest moves in the game. Oh, and before you ask, yes, they are all definitely gay, and yes, they are all definitely gay for each other. My gut feeling is never wrong with these kinds of things. This is just one big polycule we're destroying here. Now, I'll be honest with you all. My first attempts at this boss did not look promising. The colorful crew are not only incredibly fast, but also have access to many special moves, and 2 of them combine to make this fight an absolute nightmare. Snowball is the first one up, and regardless of your total health or defense, when this move hits, your health is likely to be dropped to an incredibly low value. It's impossible for this move to kill, sure, but it will always put you in the danger zone when it connects. Their second special move is Fourth Wall, and regardless of any defense buffs you have, this move will always hit your entire entire team for somewhere in the 200 damage range, and there's no avoiding it. Now, these moves aren't super scary on their own, but when combined, make this fight a nightmare. What's likely to happen is that Snowball will hit first and drop your characters to super low HP, and then after, a fourth wall will come in and finish the job with unblockable damage before you can heal. These moves don't combo all the time, but due to the 1 million HP we have to pick away at, it's bound to happen before we're even close to defeating these guys. In order to win this challenge once and for all, I was gonna need to study how they worked inside and out, and I ended up discovering something pretty surprising. I don't know if it was because of my Haunter Bite or my 2 jump scarers, but in my first attempts, the colorful crew would never actually swing at me. Other bosses would do basic attacks alongside their special moves that would deal a ton of damage, but these guys only use special moves. And then I realized, the only 2 moves they have that are scary, Snowball and Fourth Wall, aren't affected by defense at all. So realistically, I can ditch both my auto shield chip and block bites and be just as well off as I would be with them. I can just remove all the defensive items in my loadout and focus solely on offense, upping my damage and lowering the time I need to spend in the fight. Of course, with basically zero defense, the colorful crew can just use bites to wipe out my party, like if they get a UFO. But similarly to Lazy Eye, I can keep re-rolling the boss to get an attempt with a weak bite loadout. Now, for the actual fight itself, I came up with a strategy to deal with the Snowball Fourth Wall combo. The problem is that in this fight, there are no prompts letting you know when these moves are coming up. But thankfully, after getting hit by a Snowball attack, we can account for this pretty well. If I can heal up quickly from a Snowball attack, I'll place my mouse over the team swap button so I can easily swap away on reaction if I see a fourth wall. If I do see one coming up, then I can just use my backup team to be a sacrifice and tank the lethal hit, letting Team 1 live to see another day. And it just so happens that one of the key teammates on this sacrificial team is none other than Toy Freddy. Oh my god! It all makes sense now. The reason why Toy Freddy would always sacrifice himself instead of any other teammates when he'd miss his rage quit. Why he's been so clutch in tough scenarios. And why he's now a sacrifice in this final battle to tank any lethal fourth walls. This whole time, this hasn't been Toy Freddy at all. This is El Sacrificio. My original Toy Freddy from the FNaF World Worst Characters Nuzlocke.
He's back!
You see, I've always thought that there are 3 things that can help me persevere through any difficulty in my way. You can either have a friend who'll fight for you in any universe, have an auto-upgrade ship in the Ice Caves, or listen to Elfelt Valentine's theme from Guilty Gear Strive. And guess what? I have all 3. To my relief, it turns out that my strategy was actually working really well. I was hitting my swaps, piling on good damage, and keeping my entire team alive. El Sacrificio really was gihooning this fight pretty well. He's played these games before, tanking fourth walls, and seems to have taught everyone else on his team how to do so. Now, the fight still was taking forever, but eventually the colorful crew reached half health and its members started to fall. And after stalling out and having near perfect gameplay for over 10 minutes straight, this fight actually seemed possible. I'm so close, bro. Come on! I'm so close! I'm actually gonna win! I'm actually gonna win! Oh my god! I'm actually gonna win! No insta-kills! No mini-chips! Starting characters only! This game's free! I had just done the impossible. FNaF World Refreshed hardest boss had been taken down with only the starting cast, no mini-chips, and no gift boxes. I not only proved it's possible to beat FNaF World Refreshed with only the starting cast, but went the extra mile and defeated 2 secret bosses just for good measure. Now, even though the colorful crew seems nothing more than a meme fight, in my mind it's one of the most clever battles ever put in a FNaF World fan game. It's such a creative use of 2 special moves that complement each other perfectly. And so, with no loose ends to tie up, I could now relax and enjoy my sweet, sweet victory in peace.
Niche micro-internet celebrity TheDapperWaffle has just committed a hate crime.
Yeah, that's right. Just last night, this goofy goober and his group of cronies decided to take out an entire polycule of gay people, one by one. The footage is pretty horrifying.
Hey all, Scott here, and this is bad. Real bad.
I know FNaF YouTubers have a tendency to do some bad things like that Puggo guy, but taking out an entire polycule is just absurd.
Those 4 oddly colored, peculiarly shaped men were always the light in my life. He may not have cared about them, but I did. We now await TheDapperWaffle's response to his terrible hate crime.
What? Everyone's got the wrong idea! This is just one big misunderstanding! I only defeated them because I wanted a tougher battle for the video! And I'll prove it too! Remember earlier how I said in my heart Toy Freddy and Bubba were toxic yaoi?
Well, to show everyone how wrong of an idea they've got and how innocent I am, I'm gonna make FNaF World Yaoi real. Welcome to the world of help! Toy Freddy-san wants to insta-kill me with love! In this yaoi-tastic adventure, Toy Freddy has a not-so-subtle crush on Bubba, and has made it his life's goal to make sure they fall in love. However, things don't go according to plan, as these 2 lovebirds have to brave issues such as not being able to play the same game together, witnessing tragic historical events, or a 4th wall this Toy Freddy may not be able to take. To pre-order your very own copy of the manga, comment "I love Toy Freddy x Bubba Toxic Yaoi" on this YouTube video. That's "I love Toy Freddy x Bubba Toxic Yaoi." And if you don't, you know, I just think that's homophobic. Like, oh, you don't want to read about 2 gay men? I mean, that's just pretty homophobic, dude.